Welcome back, everyone, to day 18, and today was FOMC. We're kind of gonna go over. This is the first time I ever really traded FOMC, so I was kind of just testing what price was gonna do. I back tested FOMC, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If we just look, we're gonna hop right in. If we look at what FOMC did, I took 4 different trades, and I'm honestly not too happy with all these, but I was just testing. Like, I would not be taking 4 trades on the live account. If you guys don't know, I am on a live account, but I'm only taking A+ setups on the live account. So this is all on the demo account. I would not trade all of these on the live account. This is kind of me just testing what price is going to do, and obviously I learned from it. So we're kind of gonna just go in what happened. So where my mind was at. So if we look at this, we now have an SMT at the highs. Granted, ES is in all-time highs, and we're going to go over that in a little bit of what my bias is going into tomorrow. But we now have an SMT at the highs. So I was expecting us to come up to this high, and then throughout the whole day, we were really just within this range. And this was good. ES or NQ did kind of tap this, and then we had a small SMT here, which I wasn't really expecting. So we had the SMT here, and then we just pump here. I'm expecting us to take this draw and then come back down to these lows, because that's normally what happens during FOMC. FOMC, we're very manipulative. And if we look at this, if I put in my standard deviation, this isn't the cleanest because we didn't take buy side with the standard deviation. We're not really manipulating that far, but it's still a manipulation move. So I draw out the manipulation leg. It lines up perfectly with the standard deviation. If we look at standard deviation, what do we expect after we meet our projections? We expect to retrace back into equilibrium with of this range. And equilibrium lines up perfectly with this low, also within this 1 hour imbalance. So I'm looking at all of this. I'm like, yeah, ES or NQ, this looks perfectly like we're going to come back, take this high, manipulate, form an SMT on the higher time frame, and then come back to this low. Everything was aligning, everything looked good, and today, honestly, if you compare this like the previous FOMCs, this does not look like FOMC at all. This does not. Usually we have a move up and then we have a move down. We're stopping out. We're causing max pain. This kind of just looks like normal price action in my opinion. I was expecting like a serious move or something like that. But this is really just kind of just action like this. So the first trade I'll take, we'll kind of go into where my head was at. And honestly, I got a really bad feel on this. I entered and I pressed the wrong button. I pressed a buy instead of a sell. But we had this fair value gap that we come up. We take buy side, as well as have an SMT. ES is an all-time high, so I'm expecting us to probably manipulate here and then head lower. This was a little bit earlier. I said I wasn't probably going to look at take a trade until like 20 to 30 minutes after. So this was a little bit too early, but I wanted to see us like quickly come back and take this low. FOMC causes max pain, but really not today. Once we ran this fair value gap, this tells me that we likely would want to head to this low. We never did. So I entered here. I got a pretty bad fill on this. I ended up getting enter here. I was trying to enter right here, but I pressed buy instead of sell. This is my first time. This is my first day using trading view through the chart, so that was something I get used to. So I actually pressed buy instead of sell. And then the second entry, this was a good entry. I do like this entry. We have the turtle soup. We come back up in that 1 minute imbalance. I don't enter here. I enter once we get the displacement. I enter. And I honestly should have just been targeting this. This low is all I need. All I need is the internal low. So this was a good trade, actually. If I come up and I take the soup here, like if I have confidence that we're just heading to here, I don't need to catch this move all the way down here. This is good risk reward, so that's also what I was looking at. But ideally, I should have gone out here, and I ended up moving my stop lower because I added to this position. I was really confident that we were going to head to this low here, and we have this breaker. We also have this imbalance. I added on the unicorn entry, and I ended up getting stopped out again. I think I moved my stops like right here, so I ended up getting stopped out on this candle up. So it wasn't like a terrible loss. I'm glad that I managed that well, but I ended up taking another loss here. I added, and I ended up getting stopped out. I thought that we were definitely going to manipulate to these equal lows, but again, we have a little SMT here, and I want us to rebalance back in that 1 hour fair value gap. We never did. And then lastly, this kind of should have never been taken in the first place, but so we have an SMT on the higher time frames, and now we have another SMT. So I'm expecting us to now sell off. We have SMT here. It isn't the most defined SMT. It isn't the cleanest SMT, but we have two SMTs in a row. I've been noticing that anytime we have two SMTs in a row, we end up then moving. So like none of these trades are really bad. It's just the fact that it's FOMC. I'm testing FOMC. FOMC isn't every single day, so I was expecting more manipulative action. This kind of just like looks like standard price action. But yeah, none of these are bad entries, and I'm not disappointed at any of these single entries. But yeah, I thought we were gonna come back to these lows, but we never did. And that's kind of really all I saw. And I don't really have much to go over. I wasn't even looking at the charts at this point. I kind of just went off my day. I had a good morning, and that's the good thing about trading, just knowing when to be in the market and when not to be in the market. Even if there is action here, I don't really want to look and dive too much into it because it's pre-FOMC. So we're kind of just within this channel all day, and I didn't want NQ to take this low. I wish we'd never took this low, but we like barely took it. We barely took it, so I was still expecting us to come back down. And yeah, we just end up pumping after FOMC. We just end up pumping. And if we, let's kind of just go into my bias going tomorrow. I don't really think this will be such a long video, just because I don't really have anything. But yeah, we now have a clear SMT, but bro, market's just so bullish. With this big move up going into tomorrow, I'm going to be very cautious. But now we have SMT at the highs. We now have a clear market maker sell model. Like, we will get good action within the upcoming weeks once we get this displacement lower. But the matter is, when are we going to do that? The market has to show me. So it's all about when we open tomorrow. We now have SMT at the highs. We now have a reason to go lower. We now have all this resting sell side. So within the next couple of weeks, we could end up getting this sell side of the curve finally. But there's no need for us to go down today or tomorrow. It all depends of when market will show us when we actually want to go lower. So I'm not going to be here and predict when that's going to happen. I want the market to show me when that's going to happen. Obviously, with this big run here, I would like to see a retracement at least in equilibrium, but I think that we could still run. But now that we have SMT, I don't think we have a main reason to go higher. So let's see what happens. It all depends on how we open up. If we open up and we're still pumping, then I'll probably just be very risk off. If we get a retracement, then we could have a clean trade tomorrow targeting all these stack lows, because we know that we're going to come back to this at some point and also rebalance into this fair value gap. Anytime we have these lows kind of nestled into this fair value gap, that's going to be higher probability, because why the market's moved to hunt equilibrium, hunt liquidity, and a rebalance, or to hunt equilibrium, rebalance to, or no, hunt liquidity, rebalance to equilibrium, and rebalance to an imbalance. So anytime we have lows near an imbalance, that's very high that's higher probability, because especially when they're as smooth as this, because we know that we're always hunting liquidity and we're always rebalancing to imbalances. So when we have an imbalance this close to these lows, I can tell that we're probably going to head there. So that's kind of what I saw. If we look on the daily, like, we are just leaving liquidity for us to then run lower. I really wanted us to then start to sell after FOMC. I really wanted to see us get pressure lower, but it all depends on how we open up. Well, yo, what's good? But yeah, it's FOMC. I'm just focused on learning and upgrading and becoming better. So that's kind of what I have to do. I don't really care too much about these losses today, just because FOMC. I've never traded FOMC. I knew that. I was kind of just testing. I thought these were actually going to play out, but they never did. Tomorrow we have PMI, so I'm not really looking to trade that much tomorrow unless it's like something looks clear. But now with this pump higher, it all depends on how we open up. But I'm expecting to be a little bit risk off still on the demo account. I don't think I'll get like a clear live trade, but once we do start getting the displacement lower, this will look clear on the higher time frame. I think that we will get good opportunity. You're back with Gari Network. Could you help me out? I have no clue what that means. I don't look at crypto, so I cannot tell you. I'm sorry. But yeah, pretty much green across the board off from like everything. So it like we're in such a bullish market right now that we don't really have a primary reason to sell off. But when we do sell off, it will be nice. When we do sell off, there will be opportunity. So don't rush anything. Don't force anything. Another day in the markets. Another day in the markets. Another day in the office, bro. Like it's FOMC. It's time to build good habits, build good discipline. And the things that I don't like that I did today is, although yes, it is FOMC. Although yes, it is me trying to test my edge and me trying to test what I think is going to happen. I took 4 trades on this. I took 4. One of them was an add to a position, so I would say I took 3 trades. I need to have a rule to where, or I kind of do have a rule, but I never respected it today. 2 entries per model. If I give that model 2 entries and it just doesn't end up working out, then I know that something's up. Something's up. That we don't actually want to run, and we clearly did not want to run to this low. So after this entry here, we just call it quits on this model. But yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at. That's kind of what my process was going into today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I really don't have anything else to discuss today. But yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow. I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for following along, tuning into my journey. I'm only going to continue to get better and to continue to grow as a trader. And this is kind of what I saw today. And yeah,